What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Nier Automata version 1.1a. And this is episode 4. With me, as always, I have Blue Spit.
Yeah, so um how long has it been? Like almost a month since the show's been on
Yeah.
hiatus. Yeah,
Well,
so
during that time, at least I've had time to complete everything, play the entirety of Nier Automata. So at least when I can kind of make some comparisons when the new episodes come out.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I was really hoping for the show to, I don't know, be delayed up until like the spring season of anime because I really felt like that the people working on this show should be given a little bit more time to work on this, just due to the fact with it's not just this show. It's just several other different shows, including shows like right now, um, are being constantly delayed with, I guess probably related to COVID or of such.
Well, that's what they say, but I don't really believe that, to be honest. I think it more so has to do with, well, people were saying it was Aniplex's management and that they were trying to rush these shows out,
Yeah,
which would explain it. So, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too unlikely that we might see another delay with this series. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again. If that is true, if it was kind of rushed out, it probably is just production issues with a lot of these series that are being delayed, mainly because Aniplex is trying to put these out, I guess, early.
yeah.
Um,
Not only that, it's just that Aniplex is also outsourcing a lot of these shows to to different countries.
yeah,
I mean, one major outsourcing is like they try to outsource to China, but as far as we know, like China's like COVID problem is significantly worse than Japan. So I don't know
right.
why they would consider like outsourcing it to them, due to the fact that their situation is much worse than than Japan's. But
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to contribute to the production issues if that's the case.
yeah. Anyway, so um, this episode, of course, takes place after the events of the last episode. Of course, it kind of time skips a little bit because if I remember correctly, the last episode ended off in a cliffhanger, and what happened is like the cave collapsed on both 2B and 9S um, what while they were trying to escape from Adam and Eve after that battle. But apparently, like they're already back at the camp, the resistance camp, like um, supposedly well and good, alongside what was it, Lily and Jackass.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do kind of wish there was a little bit, a little bit more that kind of. It seems like they kind of glossed over some things there, but I mean, this is kind of how things happen in the game for the most part. You just are basically just told to report back to the resistance camp. So I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, I mean, Jackass continues to get more scenes as well, which I like, of course, because she doesn't really participate in any of anything, except to just give you quests and kind of talk to you from time to time in the game. But she's not really that involved in the plot. But I like how that she is more involved in the anime.
Yeah, and Jackass, of course, suggests that there's a because she's been noticing a lot of like these machines gaining more intelligence and have like the increased ability to mimic human behavior because of like how like
Mhm.
in previous episodes we've seen like one of the robots trying to plant flowers, the other ones of course in the last episode try to mimic like I guess sexual behavior of sorts. But um like she suggests that like it's possible that these machines might be changing their behavior of sorts. But of course, 9S flatly rejects that idea and says like machines aren't capable of like any such human emotion of any sorts. And it's pretty much true to like his behavior in the game as well, because not 9S just like has no belief that these machines will have any ability to have any sort of human behavior. and he's pretty much dead set and wanting to destroy every single machine, no matter what these machines try to, no matter what kind of behavior these machines try to exhibit.
Yeah. Well, and also that's just because that's part of Yorha's mission is just to basically exterminate all the machines because supposedly there's a war. There's a war going on where they're trying to wipe out the remainder of humanity. So Yorha's his mission is just to completely destroy all the machines, and the androids are just programmed to carry out that mission.
Yeah.
Um, but I did notice that there were some original scenes here as well, such as the Yorha commander talking to, I I guess supposedly it's the Council of Humanity, I think, that she's talking to, where she kind of like, I forget exactly, but I think she like questions their mission, and basically the Council of Humanity doesn't really want to reveal anything. Is basically saying that they can't really talk about certain things or whatever. So she doesn't really get any answers from them.
No, and of course she actually has an actual name. She's actually called Commander White now. I don't think I've ever heard her actual name being called.
Yeah, I don't think she had a name in the game, if I remember correctly. She was just the commander. So I find it interesting that they decided to give her a name.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that now she's been given more scenes in the anime compared to how she was in the game. I mean, most of the attention was focused on 9S and 2B's perspective, as well as A2 as well by the second half of the game.
Right.
But of course, the Commander White now gives 2B and 9S another assignment to investigate a disturbance somewhere in the area where they noticed one of their Yorha androids is supposedly alive of sorts because of their black box being active. So 2B and 9S investigate the area, and they come across this amusement park, which is of course another scene in the game in which they find a lot of these machines exhibiting like almost human-like behavior, almost in a way having fun of sorts.
Yeah, they're kind of pretending like they're at a carnival.
Yeah.
But I also found it interesting how the anime sort of implemented something that happens. It's not really a side quest, but it's something that I think you can do after this part of the game where you observe a play, and it's basically the robot's interpretation of Romeo and Juliet, and that kind of happens. They kind of show that scene in the anime as well.
Yeah, so so both 2B and 9S eventually go further into the amusement park and go into an auditorium, which they witness several machines reenacting another play, until they come across this giant machine called the Songstress. And the fight scene in this one is of course different in the anime compared to how it was in the game. Of course, in the game you mainly just hack and slash this boss, while in this one 9S hacks into the Songstress. But of course, you do hack in to the Songstress as 9S, but of course it's a lot different. Well, in the game, his hacking abilities, which you're just basically just playing almost like a top-down shooter mini game. While in this one, he delves deeper into the consciousness into the machine.
Yeah, I do like how they changed it in the anime, where it kind of expands on certain things about the plot, such as with this boss, which is revealed more so in Route B, that she basically wanted to become more attractive to this other robot that she had some kind of a crush on, and it was never good enough, I guess. She was always trying to be more attractive, but she was driving herself insane trying to get the attention of this other machine. But yeah, it basically is another case of them kind of implementing elements from Route B as well. But it kind of also seems like it expanded on it too, because there are some things in there that I don't really remember from the game.
Yeah, and of course, they also come across a lot of these dead husks of the previous Yorha androids that apparently the songstress has ended up capturing for her own ends, and
Yeah.
pretty much, they're all like basically just kept half alive of sorts to be used against 2B and 9S. But fortunately, 2B and 9S were able to fend them all off and destroy them, and then managed to. Well, of course, there's something that happened in this episode that didn't happen in the game. Is that while 9S was hacking, 2B also hacks into the machine as well to help 9S as well, which she never really does
Hmm.
in the game. She just made basically 2B was there to just hack and slash the boss while 9S is busy, hacking the machine from the inside.
Yeah. Also, like that. Um. I. I kind of get why they did this, but of course we have the CGI kind of rearing its head again with like how I just do not think the which the boss's name is Simone, I think, but it doesn't look good in the anime, like, of course, and we've seen it before in the first episode, how they made like the flight units look. Basically they are using this CG again for the boss, which it's just everything else looks fine, but the CG just is still very distracting, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell. Like, I mean, I still go by my assertions that they kind of ripped off these models from the game itself, especially like
I
the
just don't know if I believe that though, because I feel like they actually looked better in the game. But it could be that they did just, I wouldn't be surprised if that is what they did. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they looked better in the game.
yeah.
So I'm not sure. But yeah, I do like how they changed things up with 9S trying to hack into the songstress or Simone and getting it almost like basically getting kind of destroyed, or getting I guess, well, in this case, like corrupted or destroyed by her while he's trying to hack into her. Then to be trying to going in to save him.
Yeah, and eventually they managed to defeat Simone by destroying her core, and then soon afterwards, 9S comes across these two machines that apparently are in shock that the songstress is dead, and 9S just pretty much like without hesitation just destroys the pair of robots.
Well, yeah, it's like apparently like the two robots are, well, at least they believe, they're a mother and a child, because one of them is like, I'm her mother, like, don't kill me, essentially, and 9S just completely just ignores them. It kind of shows how ruthless he is, and how he, of course, adheres to Yorha's mission of just completely annihilating all the machines. 2B, of course, kind of seems like she's not sure about it, but 9S just completely just kills both of them. Um, and it kind of like reinforces the whole theme of Nier Automata, which is kind of like trying to say that the machines trying to become human. That there's kind of like it seems like they're trying to say, is there really much difference between the machines and humans, or the androids and humans? But it seems like that's what this scene is kind of trying to convey, because yeah, 9S just kills them because they are machines, and does not see them as human, or as human like at all. It just doesn't, it shows no mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode. I thought
Yeah.
it was a decent episode, other than some hiccups with the CGI, but
Yeah.
it pretty much like went the way I thought it would, like going into the amusement park. And if I'm assuming correctly, the next episode will likely introduce Pascal into the next episode. Um,
Hmm.
I'm also curious if they're going to implement the Yorha Traders side story quest into the next episode, because that's also like an important plot point of from the game, in terms of like about Yorha's intention of like uh wanting to silence their own for the sake of the mission.
Yeah, there's that side quest, and then there are some other side quests too that kind of hint at certain things that happen later on in the story. I'm not exactly sure if they will implement that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because they have added some anime original stuff here and there, and they have found interesting ways of implementing the side content into, I guess, the main storyline. So I guess it's not out of the question that they could potentially do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Yorha traders are kind of has more relation into into A2's storyline as well. So could
Yeah.
it could play a factor into that of sorts. But uh, yeah, overall, I thought this was an okay episode. I'm kind of glad that it's back, but it's like at the same time, I really felt like they
Uh,
felt.
Also, I was going to say, too, speaking of A2, I am wondering how that there is something from the game where it's implied that the resistance leader in the game, Anemone and A2, had some prior history or relationship. Um, so I'm kind of wondering how they're going to handle that in the anime. Maybe they'll just replace Anemone with Lily and say that they had some, I don't know, that her and A2 used to know each other or something like that. Because that is some of the side quests in the in Automata, or well, some of the conversations you have with Anemone and some of the side quests say that they basically like had like some kind of that they used to know one another, or they used to work together.
Yeah,
It's not a really important plot point, but I'm wondering if they're going to implement that somehow.
I think that would be like a necessary addition into the main plot line because it would like confuse a lot of people if they didn't put that in there, and plus it would like add a lot more clarification into certain characters, like views and motivations of why they believe certain things.
Mm. Yeah, but I do agree. I thought it was a fairly decent episode. I think it's so far it's adapting the game pretty well, and I find some of the anime additions interesting. I like how they're handling the hacking segments, and they're adding some different things there. But the CG is just the only thing so far about this adaptation that like I said, it's distracting. You can't really. It's hard to look past it. Um, I think I feel like I'm not. I don't mind that they're using CG, but I feel like it could have been used better, I guess, because we have, of course, examples like Studio Mappa implementing CG in their anime, and it does. I feel like it looks a lot better than what A1 is doing with the Nier Automata anime.
It's sort of another reason as to why I wanted them to hold off until the spring anime season, is just for them to just properly work on the show a little bit more, just to rectify those kinds of oversights.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that could have probably helped if the show definitely had more time. Then some things like that could have been improved, but I guess this is, we have to just take what we can get. But yeah, hopefully there aren't really any more significant delays with the series. I don't really have too much else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It was still all right for what it was. Pretty much still staying faithful. Especially like in terms of 9S's characterization of like how he views the machines and his mission to pretty much annihilate them of sorts. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode of which I'm definitely assuming that Pascal is going to be introduced into the next episode.
Yeah, I can say they definitely will be. But yeah, that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.